It's the first episode of our podcast. I'm Isaac.
I'm Carlos.
I'm sorry, yo. Shit, do we got it, yo?
I don't know. Just enough for the camera to hear us.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so let's start off with probably the biggest news going around the NBA so far. Kevin Durant requested a trade.
I mean, the two places he asked for a trade to the 2-1 seeds, to Phoenix and to Miami, which is weak. But I don't think he's going to Phoenix now because DeAndre Ayton's at least there for the time being.
Yeah, they can't trade him for a year.
They can trade him, but he has to.
He has to agree to it.
He has to agree to it, which I don't think he would agree to a trade with the Nets. He wanted to be on the Pacers, so there's no way.
No, well, the Pacers were the ones who were offering the money. It's not that he wanted to be on the Pacers. It's just that
they
were offering the
max.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that just means he's not gonna stay with the Suns though, because they didn't want to offer him the supermax from the beginning, and they're paying him way less. They could have paid him like 5 years, 180 mil. And what the Pacers offered, like 4 years, 110, something like that.
No, the Pacers offered him basically the max if they could. I forget the numbers off the top of my head.
But
I mean, it's the biggest offer sheet in history.
Yeah. For DeAndre Ayton, who he's a great center and he's a young guy, but I don't know. He hasn't done anything. His team hasn't done anything.
Well, I mean, his team did go to finals.
But they lost, and then they lost to the Mavs, who was just Luka and Jalen Brunson.
Luka's bad.
Luka's gonna be the best player in the league one day. He's gonna be the best player in the league without a doubt. But I don't know. I just feel like the Suns are frauds.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because, especially with the Gobert trade, right now, the Nets are looking like they want a haul for KD, and every team that wants KD, that would actually benefit from having KD, would have to give up a lot to get KD, and at that point, is it worth it? Like, there was a report saying that if the Nets were to trade KD to the Suns, that they want Devin Booker.
Yeah, I saw that.
If I'm the Suns, I'm not. Why the fuck would I get KD?
How old is Devin Booker? Like 24, 25?
Yeah, he was 24. Devin Booker is young.
For what, like a 34-year-old KD? Who KD's still going to play nice for like, I'll give him like another couple seasons, but he's on his way out. He's on his way. Same thing with Chris Paul. Chris Paul's on his way out on the Suns. I don't think the Nets would take Chris Paul for KD. If that's who they want, make that trade 100%. I'm getting rid of Chris Paul for KD without a doubt. Because DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and KD, that could make it to the finals.
Yeah, the thing about Chris Paul, though, is Chris Paul has this effect about him that he improves every team he's on exponentially.
That's because of his leadership.
That's
all it is.
So the Thunder, right, and obviously because the Thunder had Westbrook and KD, are the only team where Chris Paul has not been on that set the franchise record for wins.
Yeah.
So when he was on the Hornets, franchise record for wins. Clippers, franchise record for wins. Rockets, first year he goes there, franchise record for wins. The Suns, franchise record for wins. Like, it's funny because
I think OKC was a different scenario. They were kind of, who was the second best player on the team at that time?
Shai Gilgeous.
Yeah, like they were kind of like
that's what I'm saying. They were like, they thought that the Thunder were gonna be like a bottom tier team.
Yeah.
They ended up being it was the fourth seed, or the fifth seed.
Chris Paul's nice, but he's never winning a ring.
He just needs the right.
I think he's running out of time. I think
he could be a great role player
no doubt
on any team.
No doubt.
They could bring him.
Well, yeah, at this point, it's great. The thing with Chris Paul is like,
he's not
who is he really had who's been like who's the best player he's played with so far? I'll say James Harden.
James Harden, yeah.
Right. James Harden, though, is James Harden that reliable?
Not anymore.
No. But even then, because it's funny. Like, there was a report. So this was before Chris Paul came. This was even before D'Antoni came there, right? And James Harden was still, this great offensive player, right? He was still putting up 25
60
plus,
points, triple-doubles.
25 plus points. Like, he wasn't like putting up fucking Jordan numbers, but like he was still putting up big numbers. He was still an MVP candidate level player, right? And then I remember there was like this interview or something done with James Harden, and they were basically criticizing his defense. And you know what he said? I'm not LeBron. I gotta carry all this on the offense, or whatever. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, he's not that dude. He's a great player. He's gonna be one of the best players in history, but he's not that dude, because you're not gonna hear somebody who wants to be the best say I'm not LeBron.
I mean, he would without a doubt be a number one option. I don't know about right now, but I just saw a stat this morning that he was the leading scorer in the 2010s in the NBA. He scored the most points in the 2010s.
Yeah. He won.
So he was definitely that guy.
Yeah.
I just think
he has four scoring titles. Like, off the top of my head, the only players who have as many or more scoring titles than him is Kevin Durant, who, in my opinion, is the best scorer.
The greatest scorer ever.
No. Cap. Who? Have you forgotten Michael Jordan?
Nah, I wouldn't say he was the greatest scorer. I'd say he was one of the...
Come on! No, I gotta check you on that.
Even now,
scoring titles. He had 10 scores. Michael Jordan had 11 full seasons on the Bulls, right? In his prime, he had 11 full, healthy seasons. Out of those 11, 10 of those he won a scoring title. The one he didn't, he was a rookie.
I don't know. I feel like this could be a whole nother conversation. But what were we even talking about before that? What were we saying about, what was it, KD?
Yeah, we're talking about...
KD's a bum in my opinion.
Nah, bro, I can't
Great
say that.
player, but he's a bum.
Why? Because he takes the easy way out?
Look at his whole career. He had Westbrook and Harden. Couldn't make it to the finals. Got smacked by LeBron.
They did go to the finals.
They didn't win though.
They didn't win, but that's the Miami Big Three.
And then
that's the second best team of this entire generation.
But LeBron was also in his best shape there.
Yeah, LeBron was
first of all, LeBron was OD. That's the best LeBron we've ever seen.
LeBron was on a good team.
And then you had D Wade in his prime too.
But then he went off and he joined.
And here's the thing. KD's stats are comparable to LeBron in that series.
KD went off, yeah. KD went off.
KD had similar stats.
But look at this shit when he was with the Warriors. It was nothing impressive.
He won Finals MVP though. He won Finals MVP both years.
Yeah, but then he left, and people are like, "Oh, it's the detriment of the Warriors."
No,
the Warriors did just fine without him.
Yeah,
the only reason the last season, because who was out?
Yeah, Clay and Steph was out.
It was half their roster.
They just won this year.
Right. I do. So the Warriors were contenders without him, right? They won 73 games without him, right? But what KD did, in my opinion, was take a team that was very, very good, right? I'll say a great team, right? I wouldn't say the greatest of all time, even though they did win the 73 wins or whatever, right? But he took a great team, right? And then he made them arguably the greatest team of all time.
They gotta be.
So basically, he made them overpowered. Before that, they weren't overpowered. They weren't really a stacked team. They were a talented team with great chemistry and great coaching.
What about this year though? They kind of had that same team, the same core.
It was the exact.
That's what I'm saying. They were a talented team.
Yeah.
With great chemistry and great coaching. Are they the most talented team in the league?
They've got some of the greatest.
No.
But they have the best.
They're not more talented than the Lakers.
They're
not more talented than the Nets.
But
talented.
But just because they have Russ doesn't mean they're more talented.
They're just going right there. Just going off hype. Just look at what the Lakers.
I'm gonna give AD a pass. He was hurt, but he's injury prone. So if he can't get his stuff together, I don't know. But Russ was trash this season.
Russ is on the. He should just be out. He should have been out 2 seasons ago.
I don't even know. What did Russ average? 19 this season?
No, his box score numbers were not bad. The issue with Russell Westbrook, he
was a fuck up on the court. Basically.
No. Here's the issue. Here's the issue with Russell Westbrook, right? Russell Westbrook is a guy who can carry a bad team, right? He's a guy who can take a bad team and make them decent. right?
OKC.
He did that with the Thunder.
He could be a
right?
front runner.
He did that with the Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, how?
I mean, I would say Bradley Beal was like technically the best player on that team, but like when it was just Bradley Beal, they were like one of the worst teams in the league.
Which they're going to be this season.
And then they added Westbrook, and then they made the playoffs, right? So Westbrook is a guy who can carry a bad team or make a bad team good, right? Because Westbrook can do so much, right? The issue is that Westbrook only really knows how to play one way, and when he tries to defer, like
I'll give you that.
All his pros become less, but his cons are still there, right? So Westbrook's pros, right? Explosive scorer, right? Explosive scorer.
Rebound and assist. He does it
right. He's a good passer. Right.
I'd say decent.
He's a good passer.
Look how many turnovers he had.
No. That's why I say he's a good passer. He's a guy who's led the league in assists multiple times.
Yeah.
But that's because he's chucking up 300 passes a game, and he has 15 turnovers every other quarter.
I mean, yeah, but
it's going to be inevitable to have 300 assists.
But here's the thing, though. Like, he's not the only guy in the league who dominates the ball. Like Westbrook's a good passer. He's not an all-time great passer, but he's a good passer, right?
Yeah.
He's a good passer, and for his position, he's a very, very good rebounder. Right. Even if some of them are stat pad, like he's a very good rebounder, just to be able to get those rebounds as a 6'3" point guard, right? But his cons, turnover prone as hell.
Bad shots.
Arguably, like probably him and Harden, like the two. Biggest
you saw Jason Tatum just broke the record for most turnovers.
Yeah, Jason Tatum shake the shit the bed though.
He'll be back though.
He was nervous.
Yeah.
He was nervous. I give him that.
We'll get to Tatum.
No excuses,
right?
but
then
bad shot selection.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily like bad shot selection. Yes, but here's the thing. I recently saw a stat, right, that this season, so there was a stat that said that was basically ranking like the shot selection of like guys who were like considered stars, right? Westbrook actually had one of the best shot selections, right? But he had the lowest percentage, right? Because people are leaving him open for three because they don't trust, because they know
because it's gonna be a break.
Yeah.
It's gonna bounce right off the front rim.
Here's the thing though. Like, I don't understand what happened after his MVP season, because like. He actually was, before that, he was a good free throw shooter. He was shooting mid-80s from the free throws, right? And he was never a good three-point shooter. But in his MVP season, he shot like 34-35% from the three. Yeah. That's about league average. Like, he wasn't, and with the volume he was shooting, like, he wasn't bad. But then after that, he just went back to just Westbrook.
Was he this bad last season?
From the three?
No, like overall.
No,
he had a bad season.
No.
Honestly, no.
See, what I'm saying is,
thinking about it,
Westbrook has the same pros and the same cons, but when you put him in a lesser role, his pros get diminished, but his cons are still there.
Yeah,
that's the issue with Westbrook. And whereas if you take a different player, right, who has their pros and cons, their cons diminish as their role diminishes.
So that's what I was I was realizing. You put fucking Westbrook with LeBron. LeBron's the team leader. Westbrook is used to leading the team. It's gonna highlight all his negatives, all the baggage he brings.
I don't think the Lakers are a good fit for Russ.
No, they had too much star power, and Westbrook would like to have some.
And part of the issue, also with Russ, right, and it happens a lot with people who are kind of underdogs, right, is that Westbrook was a guy who.
You consider him an underdog? Westbrook underdog?
Yeah, because
maybe as a team, but not as an individual.
No. Here's why I say that. Coming out of high school, right? He wasn't highly recruited.
But he went to UCLA.
Yeah, he did, but he didn't get that until like very late into his his like senior year, right? Because he was a late bloomer. And then even when he was drafted, people weren't looking at him like, oh, okay, this is like an explosive scorer type. They were like, okay, he's a scrappy guy on defense. Right?
What did he go? Was he a high pick?
He went number 4, so he was a high pick. But like they didn't expect that much from him.
Yeah. What year?
Like,
who else was drafted that year?
Kevin Love. Kevin Love went.
Kevin Love. Well, he went. Yeah, Kevin Love went to USC.
This was the
Kevin Love
draft.
went one. Was the one pick that year? I mean, Kevin Love was an animal back then. He was like he was a 2020 machine.
Right. So like that. So like honest. Right. So I feel like if Westbrook wasn't on that UCLA team with Kevin Love, he might not even have gone that high because there wouldn't have been as many eyes on him.
Yeah.
Right. So Westbrook, right, because of his mentality, right, because of his ambition, he drove himself to become the great player that he is today, right, or that he became, right, an MVP, right, on a 6 seed,
yeah,
average a triple-double
for 2 seasons,
three in a row, 3 seasons in a row, and then he went to the Rockets the next season, then he went to the Wizards, then averaged another triple-double. Like, this is something that we never thought we would see Westbrook did, right? So Westbrook is thinking, all these people telling me to slow down, telling me this, that. I'm like, he's thinking the whole reason I'm a star is because I worked my ass off, because I played 1,000%, right? So he doesn't understand the balance because he feels the reason he got to where he got to was because he was rapid. Like this.
And I will say that Westbrook is probably one of the quickest players on the court. Like overall.
It's explosiveness.
Yeah, you just
his first step. If
right.
If you're not on him, he'll get by you. No problem.
And because like Westbrook, when it comes to like just being a workout warrior, is probably like probably the top guy maybe. Like you could say LeBron, but I think Westbrook might.
Just in terms of like.
Working hard and then taking care of his body. Like LeBron's probably number one taking care of his body, but like Westbrook when it comes to working hard.
LeBron spends what some people make in a year just to make sure his body's top notch.
Bro, he spends what most people would never make.
Yeah,
he spends what most people have in retirement.
Like he's spending upwards of $1 million a year to make sure.
Bro, like at least $1 million.
Yeah, but because like the thing is, like I remember when Isaiah Thomas was traded to the Cavs, he said that the Cavs don't really practice.
Isaiah Thomas said that?
Yeah.
And what year was that? LeBron was still there?
This was 2018. This was his last year on the Cavs. So like, LeBron's obviously a hard worker, but like he knows when to relax.
Yeah.
Westbrook does not know when to relax.
Yeah.
But Westbrook hasn't had any like major season-ending injuries yet either.
No, he has. He's had an MCL tear that kept him out for a season. That was the season where KD won MVP.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the thing is like because of how gifted Westbrook is athletically and because of how hard he works, we even forget that he's had these injuries that for anybody else is career altering. For Westbrook, he just comes back and he's the same guy.
Well, yeah, because his MCL isn't really like your MCL it heals on its own, but the way he plays, he
had surgery on it, and I think the first surgery actually was kind of botched because he had to get it done again. Correct me if someone might want to fact check me on that, but I believe so. Like they tried some experimental procedure thing on him, and just he came back, but he wasn't he had to get it done.
That was the year it flipped, right? I think it was the first game and some shit happened to his knee, so he just I remember something.
All right, so speaking about trades, Rudy Gobert got traded from the Jazz to the Wolves, and they collected it all.
Yeah, the Jazz did, but I don't like that for the Wolves. That backcourt, Cat and Gobert.
They gave up a lot to get Gobert. They overpaid for Gobert.
It's not worth it. Gobert is.
But here's one thing I will say. The Wolves, this past season, was the first. Well, this past season and then the season they had Jimmy Butler, but they had a stacked team and they still underperformed, right? Were the only season they made the playoffs since the Kevin Garnett era.
The Wolves?
Yes.
This season?
This season and then 2018 with Jimmy Butler. Right, but I feel but I'm not even gonna count that.
They never made the playoffs with Kevin Love?
No. Never. So they've been a bad, and even with Kevin Garnett, if it wasn't for the fact that Kevin Garnett was just an animal, they wouldn't have made the playoffs.
Kevin Garnett was different.
No,
right?
Kevin, I wouldn't even say he's an animal. That dude's a different species. He's not from this planet.
So the Wolves have been a bad team, right?
Yeah.
So now they see, okay, we got Colin Towns, we got this dude,
Anthony Edwards,
nice. who looks like he could be a star.
Yeah, I think.
Like, let's capitalize on it. So like, I'm not mad at them for trying to improve. I think they were a little. They jumped the gun a little.
Do you think Rudy Gobert was the way to go though? Does that make him?
This is still on topic, but way off topic. Highway robbery in the NBA is what Zion is doing right now.
Nah,
Man's has played 2 games and he is straight up.
I think Zion's gonna come back and he's gonna be filthy.
Well, here's
they are paying this dude a boatload and he's played 2 games.
here's the thing about Zion Williamson. When Zion Williamson has played, right, which has not been a lot, but when he has played, he has been not just an all-star level player. Damn near an all NBA level player.
He's super efficient.
He averaged like 26 and 8 on like 60% shooting.
No, super efficient. He's got the rebounds.
Like the only players in history that you can look at who averaged that volume of points on that level of efficiency is like Shaq.
Yeah.
Like think about it. And this is a guy who's 6'7".
Yeah, that's the thing though. I think Zion's gonna be good. I think he's gonna come back healthy and he's gonna be filthy. But he's short. He's 6'7". Was he a 4? Is he the 4?
Yeah. He regularly plays for. I don't think it's that here's the issue with Zion and like, when Zion was in college, people were talking about his weight, and I'm like. And I was like, nah, he just has a lot of muscle. Like, he's fine. Right? That's what I'm saying. Because he did, like, I'm like, this dude is zooming past everybody. He's jumping over guys. I'm like, nah. He like, just because you haven't seen somebody like his size do that, he's fine, right? But, like, right now, he actually seems like you can see it in his face. Like, when he was at Duke, he was a little fatter than the average NBA player, but, like, he was still chiseled. But now, like, you can actually see it in his face. Like, he's
round.
He's round. He's a little chubby.
I just saw something recently, though. He looked in good shape. Like, from like a shoot or something.
Yeah,
also, he was at a game. He was in great shape. He looked way better.
With photos on the internet, you gotta be
I'm not gonna put too much stock in the photos.
That went around and his arms were like 17 feet across.
I'm not gonna put too much stock in the photos. But, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, Zion Williams is so gifted that even, like, that past season when he was overweight, he's still dominating. But it's like, if he could find a way to get that balance, right? So maybe not like close to 300, maybe 260, right? Maybe
think about it, because LeBron was at 260, 265.
Right, but Zion Williamson is a guy who puts on weight easily. Zion Williamson is like unlike any.
But you got to think about it from
like
the point of an athlete. Player. It's not about the number. Your body can't differentiate between it being muscle or fat. 265 on you're still gonna be 260. It could be 100% fat. It's gonna be a lot of stress.
Especially the way he
jumps,
the way he plays.
He plays like his game Rose-esque. He's explosive in the air.
He plays like D Rose. He plays like Westbrook. Yeah, they're explosive players.
Yeah,
that's gonna take a toll.
Here's the thing. Like, now that you even mentioned Westbrook, Westbrook is actually, Matt, to say, relatively injury-free, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that is due to mechanics, and then also part of that is making sure that your body is balanced. One of the things that I see with Zion is that he doesn't seem to be a very balanced guy. Like, you see just how he walks, how he kind of jogs.
Kind of walks.
He kind of gimps. Like, even though he's fast, like, he's still kind of like. Awkwardly. I feel like he has like some muscular imbalances.
It looks like he never learned how to walk.
And like some, like he has like some issues with his biomechanics. No, like I remember, this was like, was his rookie year or maybe where he got hurt, and then there were reports that he was relearning how to walk. Yeah, he has issues with his biomechanics. Yeah.
That's probably
right. Like he probably has like imbalances in his legs and in his hips and stuff like that, which is probably leading to like these issues with his knees and stuff like that.
But I think if he can come back healthy, the Pelicans are gonna be nice. Mm-hmm. They have him. They have Brandon Ingram. They have CJ McCollum. They're gonna be nice. They still got Steven Adams, right? They got Steven Adams, who I've always liked since OKC. I think New Orleans is gonna be nice if Zion can figure it out. Because Brandon Ingram, I think he's legit, and you know CJ McCollum is too.
Yeah, there is one thing though about like Brandon Ingram is that I don't think he wants to defer to Zion. I think he believes that he's just as good, if not better, than Zion.
Right now, he's definitely better.
But like I remember, there was a report, right, and people went crazy about it, right, because he was like, "Oh, I see Zion, and like Zion is a guy who like can do what I can do," or something like that.
That's what Brandon Ingram was saying.
Yeah, this was like his rookie year. I mean, not Brandon Ingram's rookie year. Zion's rookie year, or his second year, right? And people were going crazy because it's like people were going crazy because it's like Brandon Ingram. You played with LeBron. What are you talking about?
Was this Zion's third or fourth season?
He's going into his fourth.
Okay.
Yeah. So people were going crazy off of that because he was like, because people were like, you played with LeBron. What are you talking about? This is a guy who can do what you do. Like you played with LeBron. But I don't think he, made that comment to try to take a shot at LeBron. I think he made that comment to try to tell everyone, hey, all this hype you guys are giving Zion, I'm nice too.
Yeah. No, Brandon Ingram is nice. He's a way better scorer than Zion. He's a better shooter. He's a way better shooter.
He's a more skilled.
Nah, if they get the chemistry,
Zion. I wouldn't say he's a better scorer.
If they work the chemistry, it's going to be a good match.
I would say he's a better.
That's just going to be a finish with Zion type deal.
All right. So who do you guys think are the top 10 players in the NBA right now?
I'm going to give you five.
Okay.
Giannis.
Okay.
Luka.
Is this in order?
No, I'm just going to say five.
Okay,
I'm going to say five players. Giannis, Luka. I'm going to pull LeBron because LeBron had an MVP type season last season.
No, he is. Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
He's coming.
He's top
10. He's at the bottom.
Jaylen Brown.
I'll put Tatum over Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
No.
Not right now. Not right now.
No.
Not right now. All right.
No.
Giannis.
Bro, your inner Celtics fan is coming out, bro.
No, I'm literally comparing it to Tatum and who choked out of the two.
Jaylen Brown.
Who choked in the series? Who choked in the series and who did it?
We're gonna get back to that because we're gonna talk about Jason Tatum.
We'll get back to that. Who choked in the series and who did it?
We'll get back to that.
We're gonna get back to that because
we'll get back to that.
Out there hitting on that one.
All right. LeBron, Giannis, Luka, Steph, KD, Joel Embiid. So I'm at 6. Let me see. AD when he's healthy.
Okay.
AD when he's healthy.
KD,
I already had KD there. Yeah.
I would only when he's not on crack though. When he's on crack.
Well, when he's on his burner accounts.
When he's on his crazy nigga
his burner accounts. KD.
No.
KD's always OD. Like
not KD. Fuck, I meant Kyrie.
Kyrie.
When he's not on his crackhead shit though.
Kyrie's gotta be
but
top 10.
But I feel like that you gotta factor that in too.
You can't.
You have to factor that in though.
Because this season he missed it because he was on his crackhead.
He's not top 10 right now.
Yeah, like I could be like Bobo Jamal Murray is top 10. Like come on now.
Jokic is top 10.
Yeah.
He's gotta be top 10.
Yeah.
So what?
Who was the other European guys?
I already said Luka. Was it Luka?
No, the other.
Luka's gotta be top 10.
3 of them.
Porzingis is falling off.
I was like, Porzingis has never been top 10 a day.
Even on the Knicks, he's been on. What other European guy?
What? Luka, Jokic. Who?
I don't know.
Fuck, I forget his name right now.
Do you know a team? Who am I missing?
I'm remembering his face, but I can't remember.
Could you say Tatum's top 10?
Not after that playoff series. Not after that.
Tatum averaged 27 and 8 this year. And he took a team to the finals.
I wouldn't say he took the team. He didn't take the team.
He was the leader though. He was the best player on the team.
He led.
Maybe not in the finals, but
I think no. Here's the issue with Tatum. People like Tatum is a guy who, when he is in his bag, he looks like he's a top 5 guy. You're like, what the hell?
But when he's bad, he's bad.
But then he will have too many games in a series where he just plays bad.
Yeah.
Right? And people will forget. And when the Celtics win, right, because they have a good team,
they put it on Tatum.
People will forget that Tatum had those 2-3 bad games in a series because they remember the 35. That he put up against KD.
Yeah.
And like, I remember people tried to say he was better than KD out there. So I was like, okay.
No, you gotta remember, and when the Celtics win, they glorify him. But when they lose, it's the team's fault. No, it's the team's fault. It's not. The team sucks.
So off the top of my head,
I think I had 8.
Okay.
But who's your top?
Yeah, off the top of my head, and then this is in order, kind of. I'm gonna try to do it in order. So Giannis, I gotta put number 1.
Giannis is the best player in the world. He's the best player in the world right now.
Number 2, I would give respect to Steph Curry. I give respect to Steph Curry. Even though he had kind of a down season in terms of like
he started off
the regular
he started off really good.
Because his efficiency numbers were not. And here's the thing: he shot 43% from the field. That's what Damian Lillard. That's what Westbrook. That's what. Like,
is Dame top 10?
I wouldn't say that right now. When at his best, yes, but right now I gotta kind of. He didn't really play this year, so I gotta make him ineligible. Like Kawhi to me is
Kawhi top 10.
To me, I would put Kawhi number 2 when healthy.
Okay, yeah,
either 2 or 3 when healthy.
But he didn't play this season.
But like I haven't seen him play in a year.
Clippers are gonna be scary this season, but
right. So I give Giannis
it's
1.
Him. It's Kawhi. Chris Paul's on the Suns still.
Yeah, I put Giannis 1, Steph 2, KD I put 3.
Okay, you put.
I'm still over LeBron. Huh?
But you put LeBron.
Yeah. Here's why. So KD, right? This past, like, even though KD, he kind of choked his playoffs. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. They got swept, and he didn't play well. Not only did they get swept, he didn't play well, right? So I would say he underperformed, or not even just underperformed. He choked, straight up choked. He shot under 40% for the field. He choked, right? But LeBron didn't even make the playoffs. And last year they lost in the first round. And LeBron didn't have a great season, whereas KD, at least when healthy, before he got injured, KD was in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, I mean they were the 1 seed at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think it's you can kind of KD and LeBron are kind of interchangeable because I have LeBron at 4. Yeah, so I have LeBron at 4. So you could
So then who you got 5?
Number 5.
That's drop off right now.
I have Jokic. Personally, I think Embiid is better. Right, I think Embiid is better because Embiid is close on offense and way better on defense. Problem is Embiid gets hurt.
Yeah,
1, and then 2, Jokic has 2 MVPs. Embiid doesn't have any.
I think Embiid should have won this year.
And Jokic is taking his team to the Western Conference Finals, and even though Embiid did go to the conference finals, Jimmy Butler was also on the team. Like, they had 4 All-Stars.
They lost to the Celtics that year, right? In the conference finals?
No, they lost to the Raptors.
Oh, no, yeah. But the Sixers have never beat the Celtics in the playoffs in recent history. That's what I'm thinking. They haven't. I think Embiid should have won this year.
In my opinion, Embiid should have won, but I'm not mad that they gave it to Jokic.
No,
Jokic had a historic season. If you look at the advanced numbers, you look at everything.
So then you have
and especially I have Embiid 6, and then 7. I'll probably give it to Luka. I'll probably give.
I think I was at 7. I had AD somewhere there.
Okay.
AD went
see, my issue with Anthony Davis is that he's had 2 bad seasons in a row. One bad season, I can forgive and say, okay, you were just hurt, whatever.
Wasn't the first one coming off?
But when you have 2 bad seasons,
that first bad season wasn't it coming off an injury?
Well, he was injured, right? So but at the same time, when you have 2 bad seasons in a row, it's hard for me to really evaluate. So AD, I might put in the top 10. He should be in the top 10.
I get that.
I don't see. Here's the thing: when I see 2 bad seasons in a row, not just 1 but 2, now I start questioning: are you that same guy?
Yeah.
Or are you declining? Because AD is a guy who's always been injury prone. Maybe he's a guy who just peaked early and then is going to decline faster. Like some guys just don't have.
What
Like,
is he, like
most
29?
guys in the NBA, you fight, they just disappear.
and like a lot of superstars, they'll keep going, until they're about maybe 28, 30-ish is where they peak, and then they sustain till about 34, and then they drop off.
Yeah.
But we don't know if that's going to be the case for Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis should be top 10, but I don't know if I can put him top 10 over some of these other guys. So
Who else would you put in the top 10 then?
I'll put Jimmy Butler.
I was thinking Jimmy. I'm not sure.
I think Jimmy Butler deserves it.
I like his
this
story.
season, yeah.
Because regular season, no, he's not really. But like in the playoffs, when this dude is acting like he's LeBron James.
I mean, the last 3 games against the Celtics.
See, that's why I have to put Jimmy Butler over Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum is more talented, right? In the regular season, Jason Tatum's gonna put up better numbers, right? But I remember, right, when the Heat and the Celtics were going up in Game 7, right? And I said, look, I don't really know because I feel like the Celtics have a better team, but I trust Jimmy Butler in a Game 7 more than I trust Jason Tatum. And even though the Celtics won, Jimmy Butler went off. Jimmy Butler went off.
Jimmy had a good Game 6 and a good Game 7.
That's what I'm saying. So like
Jimmy goes up with
I value that more. And the fact that Jimmy Butler is also granted, Jason Tatum is a very good defender, but Jimmy Butler is locked down.
He's known.
Jimmy's top 3 defender.
So I'll give Jimmy Butler 8. Then I'll put Jason Tatum 9, and then 10 is where it gets interesting because I could put Anthony Davis there.
Devin Booker.
I could put Devin Booker is probably who I'm thinking I'll put there.
You do
right?
Would you want to put Ja there?
Ja is also a contender for that. But the thing about Ja Morant is that this is his first season really.
Yeah, so we'll see if he keeps it.
So
they were just as
left to it.
Who?
The youngest Ball brother.
LaMelo was nice.
LaMelo's nice,
but he's not top 10.
I'm not saying top 10.
He
He matched what people were expecting out of him,
but
and surpassed it a bit.
But the Grizzlies were just as good without Ja.
I wouldn't say just as good. I would not say just as good. I mean, just because you can play well for a couple of games. Just because you can play well for a couple of games does not mean you're just as good.
They take the Warriors to 6?
Ja was averaging 27. Ja was putting
Ja
up.
was stupid. They took the Warriors to 6.
always having like a prime D Rose level season.
Ja went out in what game against the Warriors? Game 3,
I
game 4?
want to say 4.
So that would mean they went down 2-0, right?
I don't know.
I want to say
it was a
4
16
off the top of my head.
6 games. So did the Warriors, were they 2-2 after the first 4?
I think so.
Yeah, right?
So.
I don't know who else. Okay, so yeah, I like Ja, could be top 10. I don't know who else you could put top 10. Dame?
Dame, I'm not gonna talk about this because maybe.
PG.
But here's my thing: if I would take, even though I think Paul George in a vacuum is better than Devin Booker, I would take Devin Booker over Paul George. If I'm starting a team, I'd take him. Not just because
right now. Or?
Yeah, right now.
Well, I mean, how old is PG?
No, I'm not even factoring age. I'm just saying who would I take?
He's also one of the best defenders in the league. Though.
Yeah, that's why I said in a vacuum I think Paul George is better because offensively I think they're similar Paul George is better.
Devin Booker is definitely more consistent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Devin Booker is more consistent
offensively.
But here's the thing though, because the reason I want to put Devin Booker there is to give him kind of credit for winning.
He's been playing nice.
But what about Chris Paul? Because Chris Paul was kind of the game changer. Where they started really, really. Granted, in the bubble before Chris Paul got there, they went undefeated or something like that. But
that was a super.
But but the thing is, Chris Paul doesn't have the numbers for me to put him top 10. But when it comes to impact wise, I feel like
he's an impactful
makes everybody else
player.
better. He makes everybody
better. Right, but he just doesn't have the numbers for me to say he's top 10.
I've never really thought of him as a player that's gonna go out and get numbers. He's just gonna make sure.
He's always gonna get his assist.
Yeah,
he's always gonna get.
Right.
He's gonna make sure his team's eating.
He's a good scorer too.
Right,
but he's a good ball handler. He's a good defender.
He's gonna take the better pass over a decent shot.
But here's somebody who I wouldn't put over Devin Booker, but I do think deserves some credit. DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him over Booker, but
is he part of a gang, which I find hilarious?
DeRozan?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was part of the gang, but he has ties. They kind of protected him growing up. Basically.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing that. Yeah. But the Bulls were the 1 seed for a decent part of the season.
And DeMar DeRozan
was the leader.
Like DeMar DeRozan,
in that team.
I forgot exactly what I think it was most consecutive 30-point games or something like that. Where like he broke a record.
Yeah.
What did he break it or tie it, or maybe he was the second in it? But like the point is, he was in the same conversation with Michael Jordan
from that mid range. He don't miss.
But you know, I don't.
I wouldn't put him over Booker. I wouldn't put him top 10 either, just because they lost in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would.
But they did lose to Giannis. They did lose to Giannis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And well, Booker lost in the first round too.
Who?
Booker.
No, this year.
The Suns? Yeah, this year.
No, it was the second round. And because then it was Mavs Warriors in the conference finals.
Wasn't it the?
It was Mavs Warriors in the finals.
And then the Mavs beat the Suns in the second round. I don't remember. The Mavs played who in the first round? The Wolves? Is that right?
The Wolves?
Who? The Suns were the 1 seed. Who was the 8 seed?
Huh?
Who was the 8 seed?
The AC.
Who's
okay, so the 6 seed was the Nuggets.
The 7.
The 7th was
It was either the Wolves or who was in the play-in? Who else was in the play-in?
The Wolves I think were the 8th actually.
Wolves were the 8th, so they played the Wolves in the first round.
The Wolves were either the 8th or the 9th because they were in the play-in.
Okay. But it was in the second round. They lost in the second round. It wasn't the first. I can't remember who they played in the first round. It might. I think it was like 5 games though.
I don't just Google it.
Where did is the last
time? I'm trying to remember. It's going my time.
Did the Nuggets lose in the first round this season?
Yeah, they did.
To the Warriors, right?
Yeah, it was bad.
Was it? They didn't. No, because the Nets were the only team that got swept this season.
Really?
Yeah, the Warriors might have won in 5 that series. Nuggets definitely took 1 game at least.
Oh, they did. They took game 1, I think. And then the Warriors went and won 4 straight.
That sounds right.
Yeah, alright, first round. Okay, the Suns beat the Pelicans.
Okay, Suns Pelicans first round.
Okay.
But didn't the Pelicans? Well, how many games was that? Was that 6 games?
6.
So there wasn't it 2-2 at one point? That series?
I had to.
Because I feel like people were already saying stuff at that point, and then the Suns just won games 5 and 6. And then they lost to the Mavs in 7. Oh, and they had the worst game 7 ever, the Suns. They scored, like 50 points that game?
Yeah, because they blew, what was it, a 3-0 that they blew?
The Suns? No. Definitely, I think it was 3-1. There's no way it was a 3-0.
3-1, yeah.
A 3-0, that'd be historic.
That would have been all
That'd be the first time.
That'd
be the first time in history, right? Yeah. That's never happened. So it had to have been 3-1, which is bad. That's bad. I don't know.
Yeah. But the thing about Luka though is that like Luka has like he's on pace. Let me at least say that
to be one of the greatest.
To be like a top 10 player
all time.
Well, the issue with saying top because like my top 10 is very very solidified. Like. I mean, we're kind of running out of time, but, you know, Steph Curry might, like, I was even debating should I put Steph there just because my top 10 all time is so solidified.
You don't have I don't hate, wait, do you have Steph top 10 all time? You don't?
We can't say all time right now because he's still an active player.
Yeah.
No, I still got to. But, okay, so then when debating whether or not Steph is top 10, I first was like, okay, who are the players that Steph is definitely not over, right?
MJ,
Jordan,
Kobe, LeBron.
So Jordan, LeBron, Magic, in my opinion. He's entered.
You're not gonna say Kobe? You're not gonna say Kobe?
Well, so here's the thing. About Kobe. I love Kobe. Kobe's my favorite ever player. Let me preface it by saying this. But when we look at achievements, right?
He's got 5.
He has 5, but Steph has 4, right? But 3 of Kobe's So 3 of Kobe's 5 was with Shaq.
He's got Clay.
And two of Steph's
was with KD.
And so like, okay, and then they both won.
But the
two
two
kind of
that,
like, you know.
but even Iggy won that first Finals MVP.
That is true, but I think Steph should have won that one. But Steph didn't have a great Finals appearance. Like it was good.
He's always had Clay with him though. You can't not. And Clay's an excellent player.
Clay was in top 75. Can you believe that?
Yeah, he did that. Right. So like Clay is a very, very good player, but he's not like a. You know what I'm saying? He's not like a tier 1 kind of.
He's a throw on the court at all times.
But one thing I will give Kobe though is Kobe, and for whatever reason, people don't give him this level of credit. He won with his second best player being Paul Gasol. No disrespect to Paul Gasol, but Paul Gasol is not. Paul Gasol was averaging 17 points a game.
Paul Gasol was more of a role player than I am.
2009,
like Paul Gasol is a guy who, if you took in like today's NBA, he's like a third option. That's on a
2009,
they had a solid overall team. They had Bynum, they had
Derek Fisher, Lamar
Odom coming off the bench.
So
they didn't have a very, very strong, roster. But
I have a feeling, the top 10 all times interchangeable.
But then, okay. So here's the thing. So Kobe has
the athletes coming in now was just so superior to what was there.
So Kobe has 2 Finals MVPs. Steph has 1, right? But Steph has 2 regular season MVPs. One of them unanimous.
But Kobe got robbed. Steve Nash won 2 straight seasons.
Okay. Let's get into that. Okay. So. What 06? You believe was where he got robbed? Okay, so
I feel like Kobe won both.
Kobe didn't even finish top 3 in the MVP voting. It went Steve Nash, then number 2 I believe was Dirk, and then number 3 I believe was LeBron.
Steve Nash was on the Suns at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
So in my opinion, Steve Nash definitely did not deserve that MVP.
No.
So let's not even debate that one, right? But now let's turn the conversation into but did he deserve it over Dirk and LeBron?
I don't even,
because LeBron had, I believe, a 50-win team, and who do he have on his roster? Nobody. and LeBron was averaging 31 points a game. Right, and
he had no option but to average 31. He had nobody on his team.
But he was averaging 31 and winning more games, and Kobe was averaging 35, right? But he won less games.
2006, that was
right. And then Dirk, his team was really, really good, and Dirk had really great stats.
2006, the Heat won that year, right? It was just D-Wade and Shaq. Because it was 2000, 2001,
that was
that was the Lakers. Then the Pistons won, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Lakers could have won 4 straight. The Pistons won, and then
what in 04?
Yeah, Pistons won 4, and then 2005 was.
I want to say
Spurs.
Spurs.
It was the Spurs. And then the Heat was 2006.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the Spurs again 2007.
Yeah, and then they won in
08, and then Lakers repeated. But did the Lakers have 2009?
Because the thing about Kobe is Kobe had kind of like a. He had one of those seasons with you see a bad player a good player on a bad team, and he just putting up a bunch of numbers, and it's okay, he has a really strong argument for the MVP, but normally those guys don't.
Yeah.
Win. Outside of Westbrook, in 2017, which not only did he average a triple-double, right? Because people always talk about triple-double. When you look at he had the highest PR in the league, 31.6, I think. If someone fact check me on that, but 31.6. He had the highest box plus minus, I believe ever. I believe ever. Not just in the league that season. Highest box plus minus ever.
This is Russ?
Yes. Highest value over replacement player in the league.
My ass hurts.
By a lot. By a lot. Right? And he didn't just average triple-double. He averaged 32, 10, and 11.
Yeah.
So take away the word triple-double out of it. He averaged 32 points a game.
Yeah.
Along with 10 assists and 11 rebounds.
But
so
wait, this conversation started though because you're saying Steph is better than Kobe all time.
Yeah. I'm not saying Steph is better than Kobe. I'm saying it's not just a clear Kobe's way better. Like I think it's.
I
think I
it's
can say that.
debatable.
What happened?
How we
I
end
think
up
it's
on Russ?
debatable.
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
trying to figure
Oh,
out.
we're talking about MVPs and then Kobe not winning over
Okay.
Steve
Yeah.
Nash.
So like, because if we just look at like the accomplishments, like it's pretty similar.
Do
I will give the edge to Kobe.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I wouldn't just say, oh, Kobe for sure. Like, no, here's the thing. When we talk about like these all-time great players, right? Like top 10, top 15, top like the difference between them is so slight. Like, for example, if you look at, I think the best way to look at it is like, for example, in track and field, right? Let's take Usain Bolt out of it because Usain Bolt was like no one was beating guys like that. Like Usain Bolt was different, right? When you look at a 100-meter dash, the difference between first and not even on the podium is just a few tenths of a second. Sometimes it's not even a full like 2/10.
No.
Yeah.
Right? So the difference is very, very slight. So we have to nitpick when it comes to like these top, 10, 15, especially, top 5 players, right? So with that, right, I think Steph has entered top 10 tier, right? But the thing is, I hear a lot of people say Steph is top 10, but they don't give a list.
Yeah.
There can only be 10 players in the top 10.
Yeah.
Some people would say top 10, but they're really thinking of like 13 players who are top 10.
So you went what? MJ, LeBron,
Magic.
Right, like right now,
Magic.
I'm just gonna spit guys who I think, right?
Is this strictly guard-based players?
No. I'm going. Like if we're going to start, like let's get into that later.
So you're at 3, right?
So I think MJ's definitely better.
He's at
right?
5 total.
But
right
LeBron is for sure better. I would say Magic, I definitely put over. Bird, I think.
Better than who? Better than Steph? Are we just talking about top 10 now?
I'll say better than Steph right now. That'll be
but Bird is debatable too. Like I think Bird is better, but like I think you can debate.
Based off his
I'm going off accomplishments.
accolades?
I'm going off accomplishments and also impact on winning.
Okay. So Bird, do you have Tim Duncan top 10?
Yeah, Tim Duncan's top 10. I think Tim Duncan I'll probably put I think Tim Duncan has a
5 rings.
Shaq is definitely in there, right?
Yeah.
Shaq,
Yeah.
What about Hakeem?
Hakeem's in my
Kareem?
Kareem's
You're gonna have Kareem there.
Yeah.
What about Bill?
Yes.
That's hard. Bill.
So here's my biggest issue with Bill Russell, right? Because when it comes to accomplishments, Bill for sure. He has 5 MVPs. He has 11 championships. He has they didn't have All NBA, whatever, All NBA defensive teams and stuff like that then, but like Bill Russell would have made everyone.
He still has
he's
on that fact
no.
alone.
Here's the thing. If you go to defensive win shares in the NBA, right? Bill Russell is the number 1 by far, and Bill Russell only played 13 seasons. He only played 13 seasons,
And he won 11
rings.
Was all 11 as a player?
No, I think he had.
No, yeah, all 11 was as a player, but I think
He coached from season.
No, he was a player coach, right?
Okay.
Right. So Bill Russell, his defensively, he was just so elite. But offensively, he was mediocre. He averaged 15 points a game on 44% shooting, and he was a big man.
Yeah.
Right.
In that era.
And here's the thing,
They were getting punched in the face.
So here's the thing. Right, and this was an era that was, at least people say, it was inflated era because of the faster pace, right? So, what would Bill Russell average today, right? And then also today, it's harder to have that level of impact as a defensive player.
Yeah.
The level of impact to where we say you're the best player in the league,
today,
but you're average offensively.
Well, yeah, because
the only player, here's the
offense,
closest I've ever seen to that. The closest I've ever seen to that. No, the closest I've ever seen to being an elite player, being considered an elite player, but being average offensively, was Dwight Howard in his prime.
Okay, with the
right, but Dwight Howard was still averaging 20 plus points a game on 60+%
in 2009.
Yeah. And Kawhi Leonard before 2017. So Kawhi Leonard in 2016 was still averaging 20 plus points a game.
Spurs?
Yeah. This was Tim Duncan's last season.
Oh, okay.
Tim Duncan's last season. So here's the thing. Kawhi Leonard probably could have averaged more points, but he still had Tim Duncan on the team.
So what did you put?
He had Manu.
I think back then Kawhi was still kind of top 5-ish.
What would you say about him when he was on the Raptors though?
Kawhi on the Raptors?
He
was definitely top 5, and after he won the chip, I said he was number 1.
Okay.
I put him number 1 until LeBron won that chip with the Lakers, and then I felt
what in the bubble?
Yeah.
I don't count that. That's bogus. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit championship. I got an asterisk next to it.
Mickey Mouse ring.
That's got an asterisk next to it. Get that shit out of here.
I don't know though.
Nah, like I had to give that deference.
No, you gotta put that asterisk.
I don't do the asterisks.
Nah, that's not a real shit.
No, here's the only time I will put an asterisk by somebody's championship, right? And this is like, we're only talking about all-time great players. Like if you're a role player, I really don't care, right? If you're an all-time great player, but you were carried. Then at that point, it's like, okay, how am I really gonna...
who would you put that asterisk next to?
Okay, so here's one that a lot of people don't talk about. Larry Bird's first championship. He was by far the best player. He's the reason they got there, right? This was his second year, right? But Larry Bird averaged 15 points in the finals. He had 2 games scoring 8 points. And Cornbread Maxwell was finals MVP.
That's such a crazy name, Cornbread.
That was his nickname.
But still, why would you nickname someone Cornbread?
So here's the thing. Statistically, that's similar to LeBron's 2011. The 2011 finals that everybody kills LeBron for, Larry Bird basically had the same finals. The only difference is they won.
He won.
Yeah.
So imagine. But here's the thing. Imagine they won that series, right?
Cap.
The Heat. And D Wade won Finals MVP. We would have been killing LeBron still.
Yeah.
Probably even more.
But it's kind of crazy that Mavs team beat that Heat team.
Mm-hmm.
It was just Dirk and then Jason Kidd. They had Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
Sean Marion.
Dirk does not get
enough. It was a very well-rounded Heat
credit
team.
for.
Then
that was LeBron.
It was LeBron and D Wade, but then when they got the third piece,
they had Chris Bosh. They had the big 3.
So that's one of the reasons why for me, like some people have Larry Bird like top 5, and I don't, because I look at that championship and I'm like, if this were LeBron, right, or another player who was more recent, like we wouldn't have just swept that under the rug like it never happened. Mm-hmm. We would have been bringing that up still. So like I have to factor that in. And I know it was one series, but still, that is the finals.
You gotta be an asterisk next to the bubble.
Do you have Wilt? What about Wilt?
Wilt's top 10 for me. So here's my.
I saw Tolly was. I saw a picture of him walking, and I'm like, this dude's like 100 years old, and he's still towering at about 7 feet tall.
So for me, my top 3 is pretty set in stone. Number 1, I got MJ. I got Jordan.
Yeah, put him over the 2 legends that led everything, Bill and Wilt.
Yeah, I do. Number 2, I have Kareem.
2? You have Kareem over LeBron?
I do. Wait, no. I have LeBron. After this, my bad. After this last championship, I put LeBron over Kareem. But before that, I had Kareem over LeBron slightly. Now I have LeBron over Kareem.
What does Kareem have? 5? 6 rings?
Kareem has 6.
6.
He has 6 rings.
Magic has 5.
2 Finals MVPs and 6 regular season MVPs. So for me, I put Kareem at 3. And then at 4, here's where it starts getting a little tricky for me. And here's where you can kind of move guys around. For me, when I first was making my list, when I was first thinking about where I put my top 10 NBA players of all time, I thought, okay, here are guys who have a legitimate argument to be the greatest player of all time. Like, here's somebody who I could argue, okay.
For the rest of the top 10? Is that what you're saying?
No, for to round out my top 5. Like, the guys who were put in the top 5.
So you had 3.
So like, in the tiers, it's like, okay, here are the GOATs.
Yeah.
Here are like the sub-GOATs, I guess. to round out the top, like these are guys who were great, but like they don't really have a great
GOAT
case.
is MJ, LeBron, and Kareem.
Yeah, those are all guys who I believe you can argue are the greatest of all time.
Okay.
I think you probably lose to Jordan, but like still,
Jordan definitely put the game on the map. Like he made it popular.
But
like it exploded when he came in.
So I see.
Cool.
Before I wanted to put Wilt, right? Because Wilt was kind of like he was the human record book. Like when Wilt retired, I think he was like the leader. He was the leader in points. He only played 13 seasons, mind you, right? So right now he's number. I think he's either 4 or 5, right? And the only guys who are above him have played more seasons, right?
How many seasons did Kareem play? Like 20.
Kareem, I think played 20.
20.
Kobe played 20.
LeBron's at 19.
LeBron's at 19.
He's going on 20.
MJ played 15, right?
Kobe's up there.
And then Wilt. See, here's the thing that people don't tell you about Wilt. Wilt, like everyone knows his insane numbers, offense, 50 points in a season, 100-point game, etc., right? Here's the thing people don't tell you about Wilt. When you look at defensive win shares of all time, Bill Russell's 1, Wilt is 2. And again, he only played 13 seasons, right? So all these other guys, like, for example, I think Tim Duncan is 3. I think 3 is either Tim Duncan or Kareem, right? Wilt was number 13. Like, Wilt was putting it on defensively too. He wasn't quite Bill Russell, but he was close.
Yeah. Right?
And then the thing about Wilt, Bill Russell was also an all-time great athlete. Like, Bill Russell was a high jumper. But Wilt, like, was arguably the greatest athlete of all time when it comes to basketball. Like, Wilt Chamberlain ran track and field. He was a world-class high jumper. He ran the 400 in 48 seconds at 7 feet tall.
That's disgusting.
I mean, his strides
are probably doing it. 3 strides is already hard.
Right. Yeah. Right. But the thing about Wilt is the winning.
How many rings does he have?
He has 2, right? But one of them he won with Jerry West on the Lakers, right? But this was also the era where the Celtics were winning all the championships, basically.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
And when he went head to head with Bill Russell, he was beating Bill Russell. So it's like it's hard for me to put Bill Russell ahead of him when
he was smoking.
When he was simply a better player than Bill Russell. Was he a greater player? That's the question we're asking. We're not asking who's a better player. I'm asking who's a greater player.
When it comes to greater, it'd be based on impact, who impacting the team better, more.
Right. So like that's for me like why it's kind of hard with Wilt, just because he doesn't really have the winning. Like, he has 2 championships.
You said you have him at 4?
Top 5? Is he still in top 5?
Yeah. The only reason why I say that is because I can still make a legitimate argument for him being the GOAT just because of his statistics. Yeah. But at this point, he's starting to lose to LeBron there. So does he even have that?
The stats?
Because here's the thing. Like when you adjust for era, right? His stats look a lot closer to LeBron's when you start adjusting for era. So when you take in like advanced metrics like PER and stuff like that, which adjust for era, his numbers start looking closer to LeBron's and Jordan. Like LeBron's and Jordan. So like he's still up there when it comes to numbers of all time. I think those are the 3 who have like the most insane numbers: LeBron, Jordan, and Wilt. Regardless of era. But those guys have more winning. So it's hard. I don't know. For now, I'll put him 4 there, and if I put him 4 there, then I have to put Bill Russell 5. Even though, but my thing about Bill Russell is, it's hard for me to really give I give him respect for his championships, but like he did have a lot of help. See, here's the thing that people don't tell you. John Havlicek was putting up 20 plus points a game. Yeah. So it's not like everybody was just chipping in, You know, he had
And he was
20 guys averaging 10 points a game. He had 15, so he had the most out of all the guys. Like, no. Like, John Havlicek was outscoring him. Like, some of those Finals MVPs probably, granted, they Finals MVP wasn't given out then, but some of them probably should have gone to John Havlicek. Mm-hmm. Right? And here's the thing that, like, John Havlicek, I believe, had 8 championships, right? So he played something, and he won championships without Bill Russell. If you look at John Havlicek's, like, career, his accomplishments are actually, like, not that far off from somebody like a Kobe Bryant. But people don't want to talk about that.
Would you put John Havlicek in the top 10?
No, I don't. But Bill Russell did have a lot of help with guys like John Havlicek and Bob Cousy. Yeah. Whereas with Will Chamberlain, you know, he had a lot of help too. He had Hall of Famers as well. But outside of, you know, Jerry West, a lot of them can't really name.
Exactly. So that's your top 5 though?
For now, I don't know how I don't feel great about I don't feel great about number 4 and number 5. And then 6 is where it gets interesting. Here's where I think everybody on this list is basically interchangeable. Mm-hmm. Right? 6, I might put Tim Duncan. I might put him at 6. And then put Magic at 7, right? And before and most people will be like, what? But like the thing about is that Magic had Kareem. Magic had a stacked team.
Yeah, I mean Tim Duncan
had a very good team. Tim Duncan always had a pretty good team, but like Tim Duncan also had some carry jobs. Whereas Magic played with Kareem his whole career. Yeah. And then, you know, Magic also had James Worthy. And like I believe that Magic team, they had the most number 1 overall picks. Like
that's insane.
Playing together.
If that happened now, everybody, the NBA would freak out.
So like
it would be just whatever.
As much credit as I do want to give Magic, you know, when you look at, because Magic, I believe is like, you know, people talk about, oh, this player held back, you know, in terms so that the team could win. They say that about Bill Russell, right? Bill Russell, I don't completely buy it, just because his efficiency numbers weren't good, right? Magic, I buy it, because Magic, when he needed to, would score. Mm-hmm. Magic, you know, early on in his career was putting up maybe like 18 and 11 or whatever, and then later on when Kareem started declining, he went up to like 20. He had like a season putting up like 23 and 12. I was like, it's insane. Like 23 and like 14 on like 50+% shooting from the field. Like, but one thing I have to talk about is defense. Tim Duncan's an all-time great defender. Magic was mad. He wasn't a defensive liability. He was good.
He was good.
But he was not an all-time great defender. Yeah. Whereas everybody on this list basically is an all-time great defender. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have it at 7. Now here's where it starts getting kind of tough. Right? So for the next 3 spots, I have like 4 guys. 5 if you want to talk about Steph Curry, but let's leave Steph Curry alone. Okay, so I got Kobe, I got Shaq, I got Hakeem, and who's the other guy who should be in that spot?
Allen Iverson?
No, fuck. No disrespect to AI. Fuck.
He's one of the greatest that ever won a ring.
Like Chuck.
Okay, so
Steve,
Kobe, Shaq,
Chris Paul. Chris Paul might win it.
I don't think he'll win it.
If he gets the right players around, he'll be on the bench.
Shaq.
Gosh, I want a ring. Dude, you're like 70. What are you doing?
Kobe, Shaq,
why haven't you retired?
He's gonna join the Warriors next season.
Nah, you could go over and join Kawhi.
Bird. I'm dumb. Bird.
Oh, Larry Bird.
Yeah, Larry Bird. So from 8 to 11, like
I think you definitely gotta put Kobe and Shaq.
In there, yeah.
Yeah, Kobe and shit. Like, I think they all belong to be top 10.
And then
right, but yeah, I think
I don't.
Yeah, but who? Okay,
I don't wanna put
okay.
Hakeem
But
over-
who goes first then? Kobe or Shaq?
Kobe. I'm putting Kobe over Shaq.
Okay, I do think Shaq at his peak was better than Kobe. Was more dominant than Kobe.
I mean,
Well,
Shaq was.
But
no, I like.
but
Shaq,
like,
he was
but I think Kobe did have a better overall career. One,
Yeah.
two.
Shaq had 4
Kobe,
rings.
Kobe, in my opinion, has
Kobe,
more impressive
three.
runs.
Kobe?
3, 1
And
with
then
the
one-
Heat.
Kobe has more impressive runs when you factor in his, I guess, lack of help. But at the same time, he did kind of drive away Shaq. So it's like, who do you really blame for his lack of help, quote unquote? But he still won.
Yeah.
With so okay, sure. But is Kobe over Bird?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Bird at his peak was better than Kobe.
I think I'll put Kobe over there.
But I think Kobe and Bird won 3 MVPs. Back to back to back. He's the only player in history to have done that, by the way.
Which is insane.
LeBron didn't do that. Jordan didn't do that. Magic didn't do that.
Jordan's
So,
trash.
I might put LeBron over MJ, but that's a discussion for another day. If we talk about that, that'll be another hour. That'll be like another hour.
Let's just call that an hour.
That'll be like another hour right now. But
Okay, for now, I'll put Kobe.
I'll put Kobe
I'll put Kobe at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Shaq at 9? Or would you put Bird?
because you had what, Tim Duncan and Magic 6, 7.
I'll put Bird at 9. I'll put Bird at 9.
So and that was
And
Kobe
then
at
Shaq-
8.
Hakeem and
Kobe at
Shaq.
And then Shaq I'll put at 10.
Hakeem at a close 11.
And then Hakeem at a close 11.
Hakeem won how
I
many
think-
rings? 2.
Yeah, Hakeem won 2, right? But one of those, right? Hakeem won without a top 75 player. Not even just a top 7, without another All-Star. Like the only time we've ever seen
He won.
seen
Wait,
that
did he
was, like-
repeat?
Yeah, he repeated.
In
But
between
when he
the MJ
repeated,
repeats?
when he repeated, he had Clyde Drexler, who was still very, very good, but he wasn't Blazers Clyde Drexler.
No, hell no. But
So-
he repeated while MJ was gone, right?
Yeah.
In between the 3 peats.
So like that's the thing. It's like Hakeem's championships, even though he only has 2, his championships runs were so impressive
Yeah.
that I have to, put him there.
If MJ
And here's the thing. He faced off against Shaq in the finals, and he spanked him.
They played the Magic.
It was the young
They
Shaq.
played the Magic.
But they played the
Who else
Magic
did the
in the
Magic have
finals.
at that point though?
Penny Hardaway?
Yeah, but like
No, the Magic
Trash.
were stacked. The Magic were stacked. This is the same Magic that beat the Bulls with Jordan.
Trash.
This is the same Magic that beat the Bulls with Jordan. In
At
95.
that point, they were trash.
But that was that Jordan's first season back?
It was his first season back.
Exactly.
Jordan hadn't fully,
They were just finished playing golf. What the fuck?
baseball.
Yeah, baseball, golf, it's all the same shit. still
Oh
a
my
ball
God!
and a stick.
People gonna think I don't know what we talking about because
It's a ball and a stick. Fuck it. He was still trash.
Oh my God!
Oh man.
Oh Lord! But yeah, so like I think Hakeem, like when you look at the things Hakeem was able to accomplish, especially with his lack of help, like here's the thing: early on in Hakeem's career,
Trash.
did they make the finals? I think they did, and they beat the Lakers with Magic and Kareem.
That was what, late 80s?
Yeah, this was I think Hakeem's second year in the league.
Before Magic got AIDS?
This was Hakeem's second. Yeah, this was Hakeem's second year in the league. So this would have been the 80.
He's
This
either-
would have been the 85, 86 season, and they made the finals. They made the finals.
In the second season?
Yes,
Beat
Where-
Long and
and they
Best
had
On the podcast?
they had this other talk. They had Ralph Sampson.
Okay.
They had Ralph Sampson, and it was they called them Twin Towers, Rockets.
They call them the Twin Towers?
Like Ralph Sampson was that dude,
we
but
call him Randy and
so Hakeem has some really, really impressive accomplishments. Like, but the thing is you have to really look at them. Whereas, like, everybody else, Shaq, Bird, Kobe, like, all their stuff, 5 rings.
Yeah.
5
rings,
it speaks
6
for
rings.
themselves. Whereas with Hakeem, you have to give it that context to really see how impressive it is. That's why I have to put Hakeem at 11, right? So now when we're talking about Steph Curry, right?
These are the top 10 brokers, close.
You know, that, no, like, here's my thing. I have 11 guys who I want to put in the top 10. So now how am I going to put Steph Curry somewhere, right? So now I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Who am I going to take out?
And where does he go? Does he go like 7 through 10?
Because I don't just have one guy I need to take out. I have two, right? Okay. I'm like, okay. Let's say I want to put him above Hakeem.
He's not done yet.
Like, let's say I want to put him above Hakeem because he does have 4 chips to Hakeem's 2, and he does have 2 MVPs to Hakeem's 1, right? So I'm like, I can justify putting him above Hakeem.
So
okay, so that can I justify putting him over Shaq?
No.
Can I justify putting him over Bird? Maybe. Now, see, the thing about Shaq is Shaq does have 4 chips, but you know there were one of them, right? He wasn't the best player, right? So I have to put like somewhat of an asterisk there because D Wade led that team.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, for sure.
D Wade did lead, but he had a lot of burden taken off because the other.
Did he?
A lot of teams had to worry about Shaq.
Did he?
Usually Shaq.
D Wade averaged like 35 points in that finals, and there's a lot of controversy about the refs giving the Heat calls. So if D Wade did not perform like he was the second coming of Michael Jordan, and the refs did not give the Heat a couple of calls, they may not have won.
Yeah.
But if D-Wade just performed like a very, very good if he went 28 points a game instead of like 35, do they win? If you're Shaq,
would they be
if you're prime Shaq, you should. Yeah. You should win with a 28 point per game score. But that wasn't prime Shaq.
They beat the Mavs that year?
Yeah.
But still, the fact that the teams had to worry about
who
would you guard? A scorer that's scoring 35 or a giant of a man that he can just get the ball underneath the rim and easy 2 points.
But here's the thing though, like Shaq wasn't going off that series.
Yeah. He didn't need to. He had so much scoring at 35.
If you're a good coach, like you make that adjustment. But also let's give Dirk some credit though because
he took him.
You can argue that they should have won that series. Right now, I'm not gonna go too much into that, but like, you know, Dirk already won one when he basically carried his team. Then he would have won another one.
For sure. That'd be 2.
Right, that'd be 2 now.
Now we're talking about what if.
So right.
That's invalid.
So, but it's stuck. So no, I'm saying no. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying when we're talking about these all-time great players, just this little tweak here or there could be the difference between me considering him 15 and me considering him like 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? Like, what if LeBron played up to his potential in 2011 and
he has 5 rings?
And now he has 5. Is he now better than Jordan? I'm not going to get into that discussion right now.
Yeah, because he already is. So.
It's definitely for the next podcast. For the next podcast, we're gonna debate over this one. But yeah. So with that, okay, is he above Shaq? He has
who? Dirk?
No, Steph.
Oh,
Steph has 4 to his 4, but you know if we put a little bit of an asterisk on that one that Shaq
the
won
shooter of all time.
That. But
Shaq can't shoot free throws. That's
right. But like my thing is, I'm going over overall impact. I'm not gonna down somebody for this one little piece because
then you can't keep the asterisk.
Huh?
That one asterisk you put in is that one little piece.
No. I said that asterisk comes to his to an accomplishment. I'm not talking about. You're talking about a skill set. That's different. Cause you know. Steph can't dominate the paint like Shaq. I'm not gonna like you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Steph can hit free throws, but can he dunk on 7-footers? No.
You can't do that for sure. But
so I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah. We're talking about 2 completely different play styles too at that point.
But then there's also the argument of should Wilt and Bill Russell be as high as they are?
Because at the same time, they both have changed the game.
I don't know if I would have them that high at 4 and 5.
And I mean that's understandable. where do you think, Bill Russell, I can argue that maybe he should even be top 10.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I put him there is out of respect for his 11 championships.
I feel like
not just 11 championships, right? Not just that, but that he was a star he was also a star. You have to be a star. You have to be a star, and you have to be like the best player. And since there weren't, but my thing is,
do you have to be one of the best players though?
No, I think you have. For me to really like give you that full credit, you have to be the best player on that championship team. That's why, for me, right. That's another thing I have to talk about with Steph Curry is for two of those chips, it was debatable whether or not he was the best player for two of those championships.
I don't think he was.
I think in a vacuum, Kevin Durant was definitely better than Steph.
Yeah.
But impact-wise, who had more impact? Because granted, this is a limited sample size, and regular season games, not playoffs. But when you look at the Warriors' record with Steph and no KD, it's actually higher than with Steph and KD. And then, so basically they're still like a 60, 70 win team, right? And we did see a large sample size where they were 73-9 without KD. So, right? But then when we see KD with no Steph, they're a 500 team. So not even like
because KD's trash,
right? And so if you want to say, oh, Steph had Clay, Steph had Draymond, yada, so did KD. And granted, now we're talking about, because that goes in the system though. That system is built for Steph, and Steph is used to it. Whereas the system with KD was integrated into the system, but it wasn't built for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to think about my top 10. That's tough.
I'd have to think about my 4.
Alright, so this concludes
wrap it up.
the first podcast.
We will have a name.
I'm saying it's beer bongs and Bentleys. Or boats and hoes.
Oh, hell no. I gotta cut that out. But yeah, until next time.
You will see boats and hoes again.